US, a country whose population is very removed from the rest of the world, but yet also has a huge hand in shaping other countries' politics, and in this case, the food landscape. The US is a country that has penetrated most international food markets. They have made Coca-Cola a household name, McDonald's Happy Meals and their toys synonymous with childhood, and KFC a Christmas must-have in Japan. In the end, the US is still a global food superpower. So in this video, that's what I want to talk about. Why are many Americans ignorant to their own food propaganda, and how it has to do with Ronald Reagan, and how that food propaganda has spread to the rest of the world as a way to uphold US imperialism. And lastly, we'll talk about the global consequences of food propaganda from the US. And before we dive in, I just want to take a moment and say that the more I wrote this script, the more I thought about Anthony Bourdain and how as an American he worked to encourage people in the US to look outside their bubble, and not in a way for people to gawk at other cultures, but to help understand and learn from them. He fought with CNN to air his episode discussing Palestinian food and culture, for example. He visited countless other places that are unknown, forgive my pun, to the US, like Iran and Vietnam, as well as highlighted Native American cuisine. He was a big proponent of empathy and exploration and seeing people for who they are, as well as recognizing when to shut up and be humble, and I hope we as Americans can continue to learn from him. And I just want to say also before we start the video that these are all my opinions and thoughts based on the research I've done. I don't know everything, so if I left anything out or you want to add anything, please feel free to comment down below. So without further ado, let's go.
Trying the most expensive items I can find at Erewhon. $14 water. I ended up spending $112 on 4 items.
Showing you our midweek grocery haul. Clickbait. Pork rinds.
Let's go.
Veggie straws.
How to make good use of the $5 coupon at Dollar General to get a week of food for around $21. First thing we're going to buy is a 2-pound bag of flour for $1.25, instant potato flakes for 2 cents.
Before we delve into why things are this way, we first should answer what. What do Americans even eat? If they don't eat rice and beans and meat each day as a staple go-to dish, what are their staples? If food is one of the best ways to get to know a culture, what is American food even? Well, it's complicated. The US is known for not really having a monoculture, and it could be argued that most places around the world don't have a singular culture either. Even in Brazil, what we eat in Ceará, and to be more specific, Fortaleza, the state capital, is unique compared to other parts of the country. But it could be argued that in Brazil, rice, beans, and meat are the basis of various dishes. When it comes to the US, food staples are harder to pin down, mainly because the US is proudly a country of immigrants and diversity, though that is currently being threatened as we speak. Immigrants are the foundational backbones of the US, and we are privileged enough to have a ton of variety of food that we love because of them. Much of the food has also become Americanized, of course, to fit white people's palates, in order to become destigmatized and profitable. But there are still more authentic Chinese restaurants, for example, that cater to regional cuisines. Even kimchi, a Korean food staple that was once seen as smelly and gross, has been mainstreamed at non-Korean grocery stores and made profitable. There's also Indian food, Mexican food, Italian food, Thai food, Jewish delis and restaurants specializing in Ashkenazi Jewish cuisine, halal trucks, falafel places, Russian bakeries, sushi restaurants, you name it, we've got it. You could literally have a different dish every night, and this isn't just the case in cities, though there's more variety there, but even in smaller suburbs, there's many different types of food to be had, even in majority white towns. I think it's also important to note that as much as we are a country of immigrants, we're also a country on stolen land that has not integrated Native American cuisine into daily life. And this, of course, is a loaded statement, as there are hundreds of tribes in the US with their own unique cultures and food histories. But generally, one of the only foods that's been adopted by white Americans is corn. But we've also changed it to the preferences of white colonists.
I hate it when a show I profoundly enjoy slaps Israel in my face mid-episode, then brushes over it like the script is not dangerous propaganda viewers are supposed to eat up. Let's talk about how Hollywood has been quietly selling Israel to the world, not through news, but through entertainment. And yes, we're talking Gilmore Girls, Friends, and more. TV and film have always been tools of soft power, shaping worldviews, normalizing ideologies, and exporting values under the guise of culture. But when it comes to Israel, Hollywood doesn't just entertain, it sanitizes. It sells Israel as modern, democratic, relatable, while erasing its ongoing occupation and war crimes from the frame. take Gilmore Girls, a cozy, beloved show about a quirky mother-daughter duo in small-town America. But in season 5, we get this. Rory Gilmore says she's applying for a fellowship named after David A. Fisher, a famous Zionist, followed by Paris saying she just got back from a trip to Israel and wants to go back to volunteer. No context, no critique, just a normal positive reference to Zionism and to Israel as a place of noble volunteerism. Later in the show, a debate breaks out in Rory's college class in which she attempts to pull a both-sidism argument, but miserably fails. She explains how every Israeli has a unique view of the situation, and that's all. No mention of a Palestinian point of view, nothing.
You sat up straight for a minute, you could hear a little more clearly. Israel is made up of over 6 million individuals, each with a unique view on the situation. You know something about a unique view of the situation, don't you?
I guess.
Because propaganda and the spreading of blatant, heinous, ridiculous lies can cause more damage than guns or bombs or any sort of weaponry.
Personally, if I'm in an alley with Osama, I'd rather he was armed with a blatant, heinous lie than an Uzi.
That's because you're an idiot.
This is propaganda, not because it's loud, but because it's subtle. It frames Israel as progressive, desirable, and legitimate, and the viewer never questions it. In Friends, everyone's beloved Chandler meets the so-called perfect woman who has had the most amazing life. She served in the Israeli army, notorious for sniping babies in Gaza. So amazing.
Well, I can't believe I've been here almost 7 seconds and you haven't asked me how my date went.
Right. How was your date, Chandler?
It was unbelievable. I've never met anyone like her. She's had the most amazing life. She was in the Israeli army.
Luckily, none of the bullets hit the engine block. So, we made it to the border. But just barely, and I've been talking about myself all night long. I'm sorry.
Netflix promotes shows like Fauda, which centers Israeli occupation forces as heroes while erasing Palestinian suffering, and sells it as gritty, binge-worthy drama. This isn't a coincidence. Hollywood has deep ties to pro-Israel lobbies. Many scripts undergo informal vetting. Many stars who criticize Israel are blacklisted. Others who praise it get deals, press, and career boosts. Which explains Gal Gadot, the most horrible, blandest actress, objectively speaking, who seemingly is always in demand. Meanwhile, pro-Palestine actors like Melissa Barrera have openly spoken about how they've been shunned from projects because of their stances. This is cultural imperialism, the export of Americanized, pro-Western, pro-Israel ideology through global media. When audiences in the Global South watch these shows, they're not just absorbing fiction, they're being conditioned to see Israel as a normal part of the world order, and resistance to it as abnormal, dangerous, or extremist. The same media that demonizes Arabs, Muslims, and anti-imperialist figures humanizes occupation and glorifies Zionism. So the next time you turn on a show and hear a casual and random mention of Tel Aviv or see a Mossad agent saving the day, ask yourself, why is this here? Who benefits from this image? Because whether it's Gilmore Girls or Friends, these aren't just stories, they're campaigns. And if we don't challenge them, we let them rewrite reality one episode at a time. The occupation doesn't just need tanks and bulldozers, it needs scripts. And Hollywood.
Let me ask you this. Do you think it's appropriate for a foreign flag to be mandatory on school campuses here in the United States? Because that's what Beverly Hills just did. The Beverly Hills School Board just voted to require the Israeli flag to be flown on all of its campuses. Watch this.
Resolution passes 3-2.
Thank you.
A stamp of approval by the Beverly Hills Unified School District Board of Education, passing a resolution meant to combat anti-Semitism in the community and drawing strong reaction from the public and board members.
This is a time right now that Jews are being killed and slaughtered on the street and threats are happening. So enough.
The resolution would, among other things, recognize May as Jewish Heritage Month, display the Israeli flag at each school and facility, call for education and awareness around Jewish history and culture, and designate October 7th, 2023 as an annual day of remembrance. Supporters say the measure is needed amid rising anti-Semitism to make Jewish students feel safe and supported.
I believe this vote is for the Jewish people, for anti-Semitism, and why there needs to be education and training.
This should be a no-brainer for a school district that represents one of the only Jewish majority communities outside of Israel.
But opponents argue that displaying the Israeli flag in a public school setting blurs the line between supporting Jewish people and endorsing the Israeli government, particularly during the war in Gaza, adding that other ethnic and religious groups exist in the school district as well.
Does any flag of a foreign nation belong on a public school facility here in Beverly Hills? Of course not.
Moreover, some organizations and local parents warn the resolution is not designed to protect all students. Instead, it could alienate certain kids, exclude other persecuted communities, and even fuel more anti-Semitism.
I mean, yeah, that's what do you think it's going to do? It's, of course, going to fuel more anti-Semitism. The problem that we're having and the discussion that we're having is not just that the United States is supporting a genocide. That is, of course, a giant part of the discussion. The fact that Israel's committing a genocide, also a big part of the discussion. But another big player in this is the fact that Israel seems to control our government, that we're infiltrated by this outside foreign Middle Eastern government that has been able to basically control nearly every aspect of our society here in the United States. I mean, here we are being censored because we have to protect Israel. We're giving Israel a ton of money because why, when Americans are completely against this? And now this school board thinks that it's a good idea in order to combat that growing feeling to now demand and make it mandatory for the Israeli flag to be flown on school campuses. They think that that's going to somehow tamper this discussion down, that we feel a little bit kind of taken over by a foreign government and that they're in control. So here we are, suspicious they're in control. And instead they say, well, yeah, they are. And so here we got to put the flag up. It'll fly right next to the U.S. flag. I mean, where are they going to put this flag? Is it really going to be flying right next to the U.S. flag? Are the kids going to be asked to stand up every morning and do the Pledge of Allegiance to Israel from now on? I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, this is such a bonehead move to think that this is going to counter the very narrative. This is exactly what we're suspicious of. This is what we're suspicious of, and now you've gone and done it. You've proven it. Our suspicions aren't conspiracy theories. It's an actual conspiracy against Americans, and you're proving it. You're proving Israel's taken over. You're now going to proudly fly the flag of your real country, apparently, on the school campuses and brainwash all these Beverly Hills school children into, which is really absurd because one of the things, too, you know, I've been living in Los Angeles for a long time, and Beverly Hills is a very mixed community. A lot of Arabs living in Beverly Hills, a lot of Jews living in Beverly Hills, lots of Arabs living in Beverly Hills. There's a lot of Middle Easterners who live there. And so how are these families going to feel sending their kids that are from these various different Middle Eastern countries and you know, their flag isn't being flown, but instead the Israeli flag. And it's because they've now said that the Israeli flag, I mean, this is how much influence this lobby has. And this has been the complete suspicion of all of us, that this lobby has so much influence that it has been able to successfully claim that the flag of a foreign Middle Eastern country is connected to Jewish identity. And therefore, if you criticize it, you are saying things that are anti-Semitic against Jews. They've been able to successfully pull this off. We've been screaming about it. This was about to happen. This would be a total infringement on our free speech. And here they've gone and done it. And they've continued to do it. There was even legislation that was passed to say that, let me see what this one is. It says, we don't have a legal group hails the breakthrough as U.S. judge equates Israeli flag with Jewish identity. A federal court says attacking the Star of David is racial discrimination, not political protest, setting legal standard for future cases involving anti-Zionist targeting Jews, they claim. This is from the Times of Israel. So, of course, they frame it in a way that's saying that the judge's decision sets a new legal standard that can be used to protect Jews targeted in anti-Zionist attacks. I mean, this is just insane. So now you've got even a federal judge saying, yep, the Israeli flag is a symbol of Jewish identity rather than it just being the flag of a foreign Middle Eastern country, and we should be allowed to protest it all we want. Here's another weird thing that happened. To just kind of, once again, prove that our country seems to be completely taken over, this is a letter from Congress. Congress is actually going after Wikipedia. right? Wikipedia. Why? Oh, because Wikipedia isn't pro-Israel enough. So this was dated yesterday. This is from Congress, 119th Congress of the United